So the morale of the story for us is, even if the bag says it's flushable, don't flush kitty litter down the drain. Let's go back for a minute to the graph of survivorship by age class. We can graph that in another way, called a survivorship curve. For this, I take the data from the 2000-2010 averages and I plot them into Excel. But that was mortality, and I want to plot survivorship. So I start with 100% that are born and subtracted the 29.2% that die as pups. So 71% survive to being sub-adult and so forth. So I can graph this in this way, or I can graph it in a curve. So again, here you can see the 100% minus the 29 gives you 71% in the next age class. You can see that I can graph this in a bar graph like the one below, or I can graph it as a survivorship curve. What I do here is I start with my 100% that are born and 71 make it to sub-adult, 59 to adult, and then you see how steep that curve goes down. Survivorship curves are using a logarithmic scale on the y-axis. The unit on the logarithmic scale are in orders of magnitude. So here you see it goes from 1 to 10 to 100 in the same intervals. We will talk later about why this is done. Ecologists have generated these survivorship curves for many species and found that they broadly fall into 3 general types, each corresponding to particular life histories. Remember that the life histories often maximize either quality or quantity. We express that as R-selected or K-selected species. If you forgot about that, you might want to watch the video on R and K selection again. I posted it as a link this week. Here is the curve called type 3. You see the logarithmic scale on the y-axis, and you see that a lot are born. This corresponds to R selection, but you also see that they are ill-equipped to survive, and most of them actually die within the first few moments or in a very short time. They are small, they can be easily blown into unsuitable habitat, or they are swept away with currents. They might be tasty food, easy to get for a lot of predators, and they are not usually able to defend themselves. Once established, though, you can see how that curve really levels off. It might be because now they are bigger or they have grown defenses like a turtle. They might also be better at exploiting resources. So that was type 3. Here is type 1. This survivorship curve corresponds to K selection. Initially, the survivorship is high because of huge investment into the size of offspring and parental care. And then, at the end of the individual's lifespan, they all die when they are old, mainly of old age. Again, this is an idealized curve. Most species fall not into these neat categories. Here's the last one. That is type 2. It shows the species that have a curve like this have an equal likelihood to die at any age. Songbirds are a good example. As young ones, they don't have defenses but have parents. Adults are strong and have experience but are weakened by having to care for the young. Old birds have the experience going for them and the weakening due to age against them. So that's why at any life stage they have an equal chance of dying. Can you figure out which curve humans exhibit?